the debate about how useful it was that's going on in Israel, the Labour Party still leaves the door open to continuing it. And as Turkish diplomats point out, nothing was leaked by Turkey. The process was handled professionally. A number of things emerged during those talks which were not widely appreciated. And if you want to read about a crisis group report about Syria that came out a month or two ago, has a very interesting listing of points that were established in those meetings that had not been established before. Of course, the Gaza war destroyed that. Mr. Erdogan took that as a personal insult because he'd just been talking intensively with Prime Minister Olmert a few days before, had got Bashar al-Assad on the phone for several hours. The Turks were convinced that they were quite close to a breakthrough to direct talks between Syria and Israel, and they felt personally betrayed by what happened. But Turkey is also active in several other places. They've been pretty successful in Afghanistan and Pakistan, which, like the Syria-Israel process, is the result of several years of building up confidence in what Turkey is doing. In Syria-Israel, Turkey was led by the Turkish Chamber of Commerce, had a kind of mission to try and make joint projects between Syria and Israel. Similarly, Turkey has gradually built up confidence in Afghanistan and Pakistan. Pakistan always had a special relationship with Turkey, and Afghanistan too, and Turkey is using that. There have been four rounds of meetings now between Turkey, Afghanistan, and Pakistan, in which have gone from confidence building with just the leaders, then they brought in the economy ministers, then they brought in the power and security ministers who really run the place, and finally they brought in a religious dimension, because Turkey was trying to say, look, you cannot leave religion to the madrasas. We have to do something about this. We have to win back religion for the moderate center. Not exactly is rogue Islamic behavior, I put it to you. Then you have Turkey's attempts to reconcile Hamas and Fatah and to have a role in getting a ceasefire in the Gaza war. I think the consensus is Turkey may have had a small role in softening the Hamas leadership, but in fact, Turkey was unable to do much and had to hand it back to Egypt, partly because the United States and Egypt were very unwilling to give Turkey much of a role, and partly because Turkey doesn't yet completely understand the dynamics there. I think I'll leave that. I've talked for 10 minutes too long, but I'm really happy to talk about what Western perceptions of Turkey's role are and what the Middle East thinks of it and what the domestic constraints are as well.
Thank you, Hugh. I'm Jonathan Broder from Congressional Quarterly. I'm wondering if you might, I think one of the reasons why there's a perception that Turkey is turning to the Middle East is because relations between Turkey and the United States are so sort of shaky right now because of the Armenian genocide vote in the House Foreign Affairs Committee. I was wondering if you might talk about the state of U.S.-Turkish relations.
Coming up to one of those dangerous corners, yeah. On two fronts. Turkey promised, basically, to do these excellently negotiated protocols. The Turkish Foreign Ministry, the Armenian Republic of Armenia, have created a format which really opens the way forward for both countries, with constructive ambiguity for both sides, in which Turkey does not insist on something from Nagorno-Karabakh, and the Armenian side does not insist that Turkey recognizes an Armenian genocide. And whatever the background of it, the United States was left with the impression that Turkey was committed to doing that. And then Turkey backed away under pressure from Azerbaijan and the Azerbaijani lobby, which, like all lobbies, is largely to do with money. And the effective huge subsidy that Turkey gets from Azerbaijan for natural gas imports, worth several hundred million dollars, the future of gas supplies for the Nabucco pipeline, and to some extent the whole issue of ethnic solidarity, which I think is rather overblown, but still can be used by political opposition in Turkey. And therefore, the United States, which had done a lot to get those protocols signed, felt that that they'd been left high and dry, and which leaves Obama with an interesting dilemma come April 24th, Armenian Genocide Day. What will he say? Because remember, last year there was the whole feeling that because the protocols were in the air, let's not spoil it. And that was the right thing to do. The protocols are for the moderates. They help the moderates on both sides. And the way that Turkey has been talking about the past and moving its understanding of what happened far beyond the denialism of the past, and the way that the Armenians too realize that their narrative is a solely nationalist narrative. It's not the whole story. The legislation before the House includes historical mistakes. You know, you cannot legislate history. And unfortunately, by doing so, they're handing the whole thing back to the nationalists and the radicals on both sides. What Obama has to do for domestic political reasons is unclear. It seems inconceivable that he will put in danger the extraordinary cooperation that Turkey has with the United States in 7 of the 10 top problems in the Middle East. And there is a lot with Afghan Pakistan, with Iraq. Turkey is a great help to the United States. And basically, US officials usually view the new dynamism and activism in Turkish politics as an asset. But as you say, there's this problem with the genocide regime and what Obama has to say for domestic political reasons, and then you have the Iran issue. It's going to be unclear what's going to happen in the UN Security Council, where Turkey is now a non-permanent member. If it's 9-6 or 8-6, and Turkey's the swing, and the United States really wants to punish Iran with sanctions, a counterproductive idea, of course, in my view, and in Turkey's view as well, I think. I know. But the question is, Turkey is supposed to be an ally of the United States, and if the United States really cares about this, and Turkey does not give that vote in the UN Security Council, what impact is that going to have on Turkish-US relations? It could have a highly negative impact. So yes, Turkey is, of course, trying to delay the day, wouldn't you? I mean, they want to move this problem away. They don't want to hit the wall, but you know, sometimes events may rush up on it.
One quick follow-up. Why does a non-binding sense of Congress resolution, which has no effect in law, matter so much? I'm talking about the Armenian
of course.
Why does that matter so much to you? When
Yeah,
pass resolutions every day.
and why, when the Swedish parliament passes a similar law, after a couple of weeks it blows over? It's psychological. It's viewed as an insult to Turkey, and it's for Turkey it's a domestic political problem. Plus, you know, most Turks do not believe that a genocide was committed, and it would be unfair to blame them compared to all the other things that were happening in the First World War, which would not also today, if it happened today, like what happened to the Armenians, would today be called a genocide. Why focus on that single one? Why make it difficult for us to pursue our friendship with America? And why put domestic politics in front of national interest? And why does the Congress not look at what happened to the Native Americans and all the other things that happened in the world? Why do most legislatures not look at their own domestic things? I mean, obviously, it would be nice to reach a day where the Turkish parliament could do something like what the Serbian parliament just did, and which tens of thousands of Turks did 2 years ago apologized for what happened. That's happening in Turkey.